What's up guys and welcome back to On the Brick with another custom seller review. Today we are looking at someone who so many of you have requested. This is Tabletop Bricks. If you haven't heard of them, that's probably for one of two reasons. First, they are fairly new in the industry, only having their store up for about 4 months. And second, they don't actually sell minifigures, they sell other custom items. The biggest focus of their store is by and far the custom tiles that they make, and they make a good variety of these. I mean, here are just some examples of things that they released recently, and this is actually not even that good of a sample for what they sell. This is literally just their new releases, and as you can tell, they just released a ton of gunship tiles. They also sell a lot of what they call puzzles. These are just pictures of various different things, mainly Star Wars, but as you can see, there's also Iron Man, there's also historical stuff, there's a lot here. These pictures are printed over various tiles, usually something by 16, 24 by 16, 16 by 16, or even sometimes smaller, like only 4 by 6, and then you're supposed to put them together like a puzzle. There's a good few here that I would certainly like to get, but we are going to get back to that. They do sell some cloth, not much, they literally only have 3 items, but I'm sure that will be expanded in time. And then they have individual printed tiles as well, which makes up the bulk of their inventory. These are like posters or insignias, anything like that, and they have a whole ton of these. We're actually going to be looking at a few of them shortly. The puzzles are also included in this as well, even though this is mainly focused on single individual tiles. And I want to clarify here, these are not stickers, these are printed tiles. And one section that I'm only going to talk about very briefly here is that there's also this video game section where he makes these custom gaming consoles for your minifigures. If you're into that, I would highly recommend checking this out. For the price, it's actually really not bad. And the last thing on his site are these maps and compasses, which again are pretty much just like 1x2 or 2x2 tiles. And this is more for the historical side of things. Now, I actually went ahead and purchased all 9 of his Skywalker Saga posters. I did not get Solo or Rogue One or the Clone Wars. I might, but I just wanted to focus on the Skywalker Saga. Now, if you're looking at this going, hey, John, your lighting is a little weird because those are too dark. Well, my lighting probably is a little weird, but those are definitely too dark. Now, I'm not saying that these are bad or poor quality because the printing quality is actually really good, and for at least like the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, the posters were rather dark. It just means that unfortunately that doesn't necessarily translate well into a 2x4 tile. That's really small to try to get all of that same detail in, and obviously a lot of that was lost. At the same time, these are kind of meant to be posters for your minifigures, something that you would have in their room or on a wall or something like that, so I can kind of understand it. But if we take a closer look at these, you can really see just how dark they are and how much there isn't to see. I also want to make sure I say that it's really cool how they changed this into Lego format. It's not just the original posters, it's Lego versions of them, and I love that. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just really hard to make out anything here. There's even Darth Vader in the back of the Episode 3 poster, and you can barely tell that he's there. The original trilogy is slightly better because there is more color to it, but there is still just a ton of black here. Though in all fairness, this time you do actually see Vader in the background, so these ones are slightly better, but the best in terms of print quality and what you can see is the sequel trilogy because you can actually see things. And I'm sorry for repeating myself here, but I can't really say this is on Tabletop Bricks. He's recreating the posters in Lego form and then putting them on a tiny 2x4 tile. A lot gets lost, and if the original posters are dark, these are going to be too. The sequel trilogy changed their style of posters to something far more vibrant, and that's why these are easier to see. But one thing I also wanted to point out is that you can actually see the names of the episode in each poster. It's etched in there, it is there, but it's also just black and painted over and very hard to make out. If you see this in person, you will notice them, but they're pretty much not there, and I honestly think that kind of sucks. In the prequel trilogy, these were like iconically gold, and it would have been nice to see that. I know it's hard to do at this scale though, and I don't know if that's a printing problem, like maybe these were just way too small to print in gold, so I really don't know there. The original trilogy has the same problem where you can't really see it. You can kind of make it out better in episode 5, because again, the background isn't black, but it's pretty hard to see in episodes 4 and 6. And again, the sequel trilogy is the best here because they don't actually say the episode numbers and just go by the titles, so you can actually make them out. Though, I want to point out that The Last Jedi just says The Last Jed. That's not a trick of the camera, that's what the title looks like. Of course, these weren't the only thing I bought from him, and I did buy his giant memorial wall. I'm going to come out and say from the beginning that I really like this. Ever since I was introduced to Tabletop Bricks, this was the one thing I wanted to buy. I thought it looked really awesome, and having it here in person, it does look really awesome. In fact, you can see how big this is next to a minifigure here. And I think this would be great for a mock display or something like that. Eventually, I want to actually figure out what to do with this, and I just love that I have it. That said, this is really weird to put together, and if you weren't on Instagram for about 20 minutes the other day, then you probably missed what happened. But first, I want to tell you the best way to put this together. You want to obviously start with the Republic logo and the Battle Geonosis thing, that's the easiest, but then you want to start on the bottom here. It only has 2 rows of writing, you'll be able to figure it out except for these 2 tiles. And then the far left is the one where the writing is closest to the left of the tile. Those are the easiest to figure out. So again, you want to do the center here with the logo and all that, then the bottom, then the side, and then just find the edges. Those are the easiest to see where they go. I try to find the ends of every row, but it's also easy to find the beginnings as well, so as long as you find those, you can start figuring it out, and then the rest will just slide into place. Tabletop does provide a picture on their website that is a huge help towards putting this together. He also provides this little thing here, which honestly isn't really that helpful, but it's not meant to be really. I think this is just to say, hey, this is what's inside this thing. So let's talk about that lessons learned thing in my title. See, when I bought this, I knew that I could use the picture on his website to build this and put it together. The problem is, when I started to do that, I noticed that the tiles I had and what was on them were different than the tiles in the picture. In fact, what I had was actually noticeably different than what was on the website, and so the question was, how can I build this and put it together if that's the case? Now, I showed this and I put this in my Instagram story, and at the end of it I did mention Tabletop Bricks so that they would be aware and hopefully reach out to me and see what was going on. And a lot of stuff happened here very quickly, but the point being is that there was a lot of miscommunication, and for some reason when Tabletop tried to reach out to me, I never got those messages. But we did very quickly find out that Tabletop had actually updated the design for this memorial wall, but he did not update the picture on the website to reflect that. He very quickly did, which allowed me to finish this, but only after it was pointed out. With that said, on my own terms, I definitely should have messaged him directly. I did explain to him that part of the reason I didn't is because a lot of other companies have just never responded to me when I have questions or concerns. I mean, I can list 4 or 5 different companies just off the top of my head of people who just never responded to me. So it's a little hard to do that when more often than not I don't get responded to, but Jake from Tabletop Bricks made sure I knew that if there was ever any issue, his DMs were open and he would respond to them, which is fantastic to know. A lot of people are not like that, and it's great to know that he is. He also handled the thing extremely well and was very professional and very kind throughout the entire ordeal, even offering me some freebies the next time I order from him. I don't know if I'm going to take up that offer, even though I do absolutely plan to buy more from him, but it is a really nice gesture and I appreciate it. Now, as I said way back at the beginning, Jake has only been around for 4 months here. He's still pretty new. And I was also kind of spoiled with having really good experiences with new sellers like Nate's Minifigs and Custom Brick Builder, who are even newer and I've had no problems with. But we're not all the same, we don't all live the same lives, and I have no way of knowing what's going on in most people's lives. It's entirely possible that Jake from Tabletop Bricks just had so much other stuff going on that updating the picture slipped his mind. Or he just forgot, but either way, it's not my place or anyone's place to assume it's from laziness or malintent. More often than not, it's really not any of that and just, oops, I forgot. So what I'm trying to say is, please don't assume the worst if something goes wrong. Try to reach out and see what's going on, especially if you're ordering from Tabletop Bricks, because the guy is awesome with that. But in general, it's usually best not to assume the worst. Now, like I said, I do plan to buy more from Tabletop Bricks, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know what I'm going to get. Some of these puzzles are really nice, like I love this Iron Man Hall of Armor thing, but I just don't know what I would do with it or where I would put it. I also don't know if Jake takes suggestions, but I would love to see these posters in a bigger format, maybe even in the puzzle format, because I think that would be really cool to have. I also know my friend is going to absolutely love these historical maps and puzzles. So yeah, those are my thoughts. If you're looking to find custom tiles or anything like that for your minifigures, this is the best place to look. There are definitely other places that sell custom tiles, but Tabletop Bricks is the one that I personally have liked the most, especially because he ships super fast. But let me know your thoughts and experiences with Tabletop in the comments down below, and who else should I check out? Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please do consider checking out my Patreon. It would make a great birthday gift after all, and thanks to my patrons, videos like this are possible, especially people like Jonathan and Project Elements. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.